Alright y'all, so check this out. When people talk about the biggest menaces in anime, they always bring up characters like Madara or Kid Buu, maybe even Frieza. Now don't get me wrong, those are all valid answers, but let me put y'all on the real Black Air Force demon. Peep this. But before I get into it, I gotta give y'all a little bit of context, so follow this. So the series follows this old man, right? And basically, this old man is just living his life. But the thing is, his life is miserable, bro. I'm talking, you can't do nothing but feel bad for this man. This man has cancer, 3 months to live. Man was getting bullied on the train, is getting bullied by his wife. I'm talking everything is just all out bad for this man. It's to the point where he doesn't even believe people will cry if he passes away. I know, right? So sad. So this man goes to this field, right? And starts crying with his dog. Now you see this dude right here? Remember his face. Trust me. Now basically, they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. These aliens pulled up and their molecules got all rearranged. They basically got turned into cyborgs and they have these perfect bodies, right? He doesn't even have to worry about his glasses or his cancer anymore. He can turn his body into literal weapons and guns, and he can literally shoot people with his body. So this man has basically got blessed with the powers to hurt everyone who has did him wrong in any type of way. Now let me ask you a question. What do you think he does next? Do you think he goes and gets his get back on everybody who's done him wrong? Well, wrong. This man still chose to be a good guy. He ends up seeing these literal menaces of kids shoot these fireworks at this poor helpless old man, right? So what does he do? He walks up and stands in front of the fireworks like All Might, bro. But nah, these kids don't like that, right? So these kids start maxing him out, start beating the brakes off this man. It was getting to the point where I was like, bro, is it even worth it? Was this even worth it? But then this man uses his powers, right? And he basically fights them off with his new powers. And then right after that, this man doxes them to the entire world with his new powers, right? So everything looks all good, right? We have this hero blessed by God with these powers to save the city. Wrong. Do you remember that dude earlier? Peep this. So this man's name is Hero, which is very ironic. What do you think the first thing Hero did with his powers? Do you think it was to save somebody in need or things around that? Wrong. Completely wrong. In fact, he went to his friend's house and shot down a bird. Nope, it does not stop there. He then takes his friend out, shows him all of the crazy things he can do with his powers, then starts orchestrating an infinite amount of car crashes for no reason at all. I'm talking crash after crash after crash after crash. He was just controlling all of it with the straightest face possible. No emotion at all. This monster then goes back to his friend's house and his friend offers, hey, maybe you should become a superhero like Spider-Man and, you know, save the day with those God-given powers. You know what this man says? He says it sounds like a pain. If you don't get your ass in the fields and go fight Shigaraki, they need you. They got niggas with squirt bottles as a quirk out there battling Shigaraki. So right after that, this man goes into the middle of the street, goes in a circle with his eyes closed, counts to 10, picks a random house, and walks inside of that shit. He then has the audacity to take his shoes off at the door. If that's not some crazy, I don't know what is, bro. He then walks to the kitchen, right? To the household mother and says, I'm home. Nigga, you don't live here. And then she turns around and she says, hi, honey. And then she realizes that's not him, right? They stand there in quiet. She asks, who are you? As she should. And this man ups it on her. But it does not end there. She drops to the ground. And this man empties his E-clip in her. Who do you think you are? Why are you doing this? He then says, I panicked, so I killed her right away. When did you panic? This is not what panic is. But then, as expected, it gets worse. This man then proceeds to walk into the restroom where this father is taking a bath with his son and up it on them too. The father was like, please don't take my son away too. At least spare my son. This nigga gonna say, no, I'm killing your son too. You are not Itachi. This is not your family. What are you doing this for? So then he proceeds to shoot the father, and then the father falls onto the son, drowning the son. And as expected again, it gets worse. The daughter then proceeds to walk in the room, right? And the first thing she sees when she tells her mother she's home is her mother laying in the kitchen. And this nigga gonna say, sit down, let's have a talk. So she's sitting there crying, right? And this man's gonna shoot next to her foot. And she's gonna say, what do you want? Money? Like, I'll give it to you. What do you want? Money? And then he ups his gun at her too. And he's going to ask, what manga do you read? What? Is that why you did this? Over some manga, some drawings? You're making us look bad, dude. And then, in fear of her life, she of course answers. Cause I would too. Boy, I'll be like Dragon Ball, Full Metal, Attack on Titan. Boy, I'll be singing the openings, bro. I'll be hitting that. So she says, One Piece and Attack on Titan, right? And he cuts her off. He's like, One Piece? One Piece? Who's your favorite character? She's like, my favorite character, Zoro. He like, hey, Zoro, cool. She then strays back to the correct topic and asks if her father and her brother are dead. And this man is going to say, why does that matter? We're talking about One Piece. My dude, Oda does not know you. So then she starts crying again, right? And he asks her, so you really like One Piece, my boy? And then it gets worse, right? It gets worse. So she starts crying. She starts begging for her life. He then cuts her hand and shoots her too. But since the old man has the same power, he was listening to that. And he was on his way, but it was a little too late. And when he arrived, this dude is gonna say, there's a grandpa too? Is there a grandmother? And shoot the old man, bro. But the old man gets up. He like, I'm not one of them. You gonna have to do me dirty because I'm not gonna let this slide. And then he gets ghost. But if you think that's where it ends, I'm afraid you're mistaken. So after just episodes on episodes of development, this old man building up, and this menace just going around murking people for no reason at all, look at this. This man then takes his role as a villain serious and declares war on the city. So one day, beautiful day, the sky is blue, this man sits and lays on top of a building, right? And he makes it so his face is on every big screen in the city, every phone in the city, every computer, TV screen, you name it. His face is on it. He says, well, as long as this country exists, people are going to continue to come after me. So I've decided to destroy this country. What? He then says, it's an all-out war between me and this country. You are not Eren Yeager. You have been free. You know what it's like to be free. I just seen you at school. You have no Jaegerist, no people supporting you. What are you doing this for? This man then says, every civilian, every person in this country is now his enemy. And the people on the streets like, man, get this dude off this screen, man. He not really about it. I want y'all to watch what this man does next, bro. He then just straight up snipes somebody, bro. All of those screens that his face was on, he starts shooting through them, and they're actually connecting. So since pretty much everybody was on their phone, on their computer, watching TV, was watching that, he was just shooting them. You got people getting shot on the phone, you got people getting shot through the TV, the big screens. Everybody in the city's just running. They like, get down, he's shooting. And people on the streets are just dropping like flies, just pop, pop, just everybody just dropping. He is quite literally just wreaking havoc. Everybody with a device is getting shot down. So he then stream snipes this news broadcast, right? And they allow him to come on the show on the phone. And he's pretty much talking to him. And they just talking their shit, right? Let each other know. This man then shoots this dude live on TV and the broadcast stops. The old man and Hero's best friend then start working together, right? And they basically broadcast on everybody's phones to drop their phones because he's shooting them through their phones, right? He then proceeds to say, you might have the same powers as me, but you cannot hold me. He shows his face on the big screens, and he's like, ba 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 ba, and he just turns his finger into a machine gun and just starts mowing everybody down in that city, bruh. Like, it's getting bad, and I mean bad. Like, nobody's able to stop this man. Nobody knows what's happening. They're just getting mowed down. Everybody. He then says, oh yeah, that was just a test run. Starting tomorrow, I'm gonna start killing 1,000 people a day. This man is doing challenges with people's lives, bro. And they can't do anything about it. So the next day comes, right? And everybody's like, it's a beautiful day. He hasn't made his move yet. Maybe he just gave up on us, right? Wrong. I want y'all to try to guess what this man does next. He stands on top of a building and brings down a plane, dude, on the city. So then the plane crashes, right? And then everybody's screaming. Then it pans back to the outside, and there are dozens of planes just about to drop on this one city. So then the old man pulls up, the goat, and starts clutching up. And then he starts saving these planes, right? But the old man's daughter is in trouble because she got caught in one of the accidents. And now he has to go over there and help her. But this menace pulls up and stops him from doing that. So then they start talking to each other, right? And this menace is like, why are you trying to get in my way if we're the same? And he's like, I only feel human when I save others. And this dude starts crying. And he's like, so I'm the villain. 10 episodes in, and you're barely realizing that? He then starts losing his mind. He's like, we both have the same powers. If you're a villain, I'm a villain. And then they start boxing, right? I'm talking, Hero is just sticking this nigga, just beating his ass, right? And then he starts spamming. He starts spamming his special move. But then the old man starts having enough of this. It's been going on for too long. So he ups his gun back and shoots him. And then he starts spamming him. So at this point now, they're just full on boxing. They don't care, it's on sight. Now they just boxing throughout the city, but Hero is so bloodlusted that he is still destroying things during this fight. But the old man really ain't worried about that. He's just trying to get to his daughter. But since he's getting fought off right now, it might be too late. He then ends the fight, and then he goes to save his daughter, and then starts saving people. And they start calling him God because he starts healing them. He then gets to have a little bit of time to himself and his family. But as you know, things are gonna get bad again. Fate has come, and a meteor is about to hit that planet. And it's only up to him to sacrifice himself to stop that meteor from coming. The old man is trying everything he can to stop this meteor, but nothing is working. But then, unexpectedly, our menace pulls up, and he's here to redeem himself. He blows himself up in order to stop this meteor. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And now our hero has to do so as well in order to ultimately stop this meteor. And that's what he does. After this sad montage, they're both gone. So the moral of this story is, with great power comes great responsibility, unless you wear black forces. When people talk about menaces, his name needs to come up because he had no reason to do any of this. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications.